We are employing a qualitative methodology grounded in two specific paradigms. Transformative, because we are working with a community that can be marginalized. Moreover, this helps us strengthen our theoretical and ethical coherence. Interpretivist, because our core objective is to understand the subjective meanings and lived experiences of these individuals within their specific social contexts.
To capture these subjective experiences over the next 12 months, we will rely on three primary tools. Interviews. We plan to conduct 50 to 70 unstructured or semi-structured interviews with a 50-50 split between males and females. One-on-one interviews will ensure a safe, private environment. Avert participant observation. Where possible, we will engage in limited observations at youth centers, school events, and community spaces to contextualize their everyday identity performances. Field notes. Detailed notes will anchor our observations and interviews.
To carry out these methods bound by ethical safeguarding, we have structured a three-step research procedure. It is divided into, first, obtaining research permits and institutional approval, second, negotiating access with gatekeepers, and third, executing our recruitment strategy and managing data storage.
The first crucial step is securing all institutional approvals. Before we begin, we will obtain explicit permissions from participating schools, youth centers, NGOs. This involves contacting school principals and vice principals, counselors, and intercultural mediators. Our goal here is to establish connections with teachers of classes that have high number of Moroccan backgrounded students.
Step 2 involves negotiating access. Schools are our biggest recipient and primary entry point. However, because our participants are minors, accessing them requires careful negotiation with multiple layers of gatekeepers. Educational stuff. They know the students and can offer appropriate spaces for interviews. Intercultural mediators. They are vital for building trust. They help translate not just language, but cultural nuances, reassuring parents and ensuring our approach is respectful. Youth Center and NGO staff. These community gatekeepers are just as important. We will visit those present in the neighborhood.
This brings us to our final step, recruitment and data storage. Our recruitment strategy will be driven directly through trusted channels. We will also use cautious snowball sampling. All interviews will be audio recorded with explicit consent and later transcribed. The data will be completely anonymized. Everything will be stored on encrypted, password-protected devices. To process this information effectively, we will use computer-aided qualitative data analysis software. In this part of the presentation, we focus on the ethical dimension of our research project. A key issue is that our participants are minors, which makes them particularly vulnerable. For this reason, informed consent is not treated as a one-time agreement, but as an ongoing and negotiated process. We obtain consent from both adolescents and, when necessary, their parents or guardians, using clear and age-appropriate explanations and emphasizing that participation is voluntary and that they can withdraw at any time.
A second major issue concerns stigma and labeling. The term Maranza is not neutral, but associated with negative stereotypes. This creates a key ethical tension. While we aim to analyze the label, we risk reinforcing it. To avoid this, we focus on participants' own experiences, avoid imposing labels. In this sense, ethic includes responsibility in representation, not just data collection.
Another important concern is privacy and anonymity. Because the research is conducted in a small local area, participants may be easily identified. This could lead to social stigma or other consequences. To mitigate this, we applied strict anonymization, change identity details, and avoid publishing specific locations or events. However, we recognize that anonymity has limits in small settings, so extra care is required.
We also consider the relationship between researcher and participants. There is an inherent power imbalance, for example, between adult researchers and adolescents, or between outsiders and participants with migrant backgrounds. This creates risks such as exploitation or overtrust. To address this, we build trust gradually, remaining transparent about our role and practicing reciprocity, for instance, by sharing results.
Another issue concerns sensitive or risky information. Participants may disclose experiences related to violence or even illegal activities. This creates ethical dilemmas. To manage these, we avoid incriminating questions, clearly explain limits of confidentiality, and store data securely. These situations show that ethical decisions often involve conflicting obligations.
We also consider the risk of emotional and psychological harm. Discussing stigma may trigger feelings such as shame, anger, or trauma. To minimize this, we use sensitive interviewing techniques and allow participants to skip questions or stop interviews at any time. We also avoid pushing uncomfortable topics and, if needed, provide information about support resources.
There is a risk of misrepresenting participants or reinforcing stereotypes about Moroccan youth. To address these, we use thick description, include participants' own words, and avoid sensationalism. We also reflect critically on a key question: who benefits from this representation?
Finally, we adopt a reflexive approach, recognizing that our own identity and positionality shape access and interpretation. We reflect on our assumptions, keep a field diary, and make our positionality explicit in the research. To conclude, ethics is therefore not external to research, but central to how knowledge and identities are produced.